Alright, here we go. Hello, this is CB Ultra 768, and we are back with Phoenix Wright Justice for All. And last time, we finished the first part of the trial by hearing the testimony of Gumshoe and Miss Oldbag, who was like trying to lie about stuff, like saying that Miss Andrews here and Cordelia were actually in a relationship. But of course, we know the real reason why is because she actually wanted to get information from him because she believed he might have hid her mentor, Miss Impact's suicide note when she killed herself. So now we're assuming that she is the one that possibly actually killed him because she possibly took the Nickel Samurai suit and wore it. And the reason we say that is because the person wearing the suit was too short because we couldn't see their feet. So now we're having her testify and see why she says she didn't kill him, and maybe disprove it. Let's go. It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to John's room, and there was his dead body. I was in shock. What I saw was naturally the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. Okay.
You poured yourself a glass of juice?
Yes. Sadly, I didn't remember not to touch anything at the scene of the crime. And I disturbed the crime scene by moving this one thing.
And that is when the fingerprints on the wine glass were made, Your Honor. I see. Well, Miss Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Phoenix. She is one cool and collected customer, and she has the brains to match. Yes, I know. In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontation. You should disrupt her pacing.
Disrupt her pacing?
She's the type of woman who is easily thrown off by things inconsistent with her thinking. So you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense is the instant this trial is over. Understand?
Okay. Why you gotta put so much pressure on me, Mia?
Oh. Alright, so 1, 2, 3 said so. She was in shock.
You were in shock?
What? Was I not supposed to be? Miss Andrews is a very calculating person, and despite how close they were, I doubt she had romantic feelings for Mr. Cordia.
Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock, and you can't seriously expect that a young beauty like her would not be shocked.
Somehow I don't think beauty has anything to do with being shocked or not.
I see.
Okay. 4. This is 5. So she poured herself a glass of juice. Juice? Yes, there was a bottle of tomato juice on the table, so I helped myself.
But you didn't drink any of it, did you?
Huh?
There were no lip marks left on this wine glass to suggest that anyone drank from it.
I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down without drinking it.
Miss Andrews, I would like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the dead body of John Cordia, you were in great shock. And that's when you poured yourself the glass of juice, correct?
And what of it? My mind really was a complete blank at the time.
Your mind was a complete blank? I didn't think that was possible for you.
Aren't you rude today? I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake. That one thing.
What one thing?
Never mind. It's no big deal.
What was you starting to say just now? Press harder. Further. Miss Andrews, I'm convinced that, as you said, you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake was.
Actually, so would I.
I'm sorry. It's kind of embarrassing. When I set the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over.
Oh my gosh, you knocked over the flower vase? Guilty! Flower vase? Are you talking about the one on the floor in the crime photo? This mess of glass shards?
It was originally on top of that dresser, but when I bumped into it with my elbow, it fell onto the guitar case.
Why did you withhold such an important piece of information?
I'm sorry. I thought that since the crime scene was already in disarray, that people would simply assume the vase was just another part of the mess.
It looks like yet another fact has come to light here. Please add this and anything else you have to reveal to your testimony.
I'm sorry, but I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else. I was the one who knocked the flower vase over, where it fell onto the guitar case. I think it said in the guide, present the guitar case. I guess that's supposed to explain why there's water in it. So... Yep. Okay, so yeah, that's supposed to explain why it's wet. You testified that you knocked the flower vase over. Is this correct? Yes. And are you sure it fell onto the guitar case? Is there some problem with that, I said. I'll say, what's the problem with it? Is it because the water's inside? Like, the whole guitar case, they've been saying the top of it is wet, but nothing else is. It's not some problem. It's a major problem. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what is so strange. Yeah. Miss Andrews, you testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However, if that was true, the case should have gotten wet on the inside, not the outside.
Oh my god, oh. That's very true.
Furthermore, there's one other strange thing about this guitar case.
And what is that?
Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. The remains of the vase are shattered on the floor.
And what is wrong with that?
If a guitar case was open when the vase fell, the glass shards should be inside, not outside the case.
Objection! What is your point, right?
That the case was closed at the time the vase was knocked over? Is that all? Objection! No, think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else.
Yes, that's right. She did imply. She did implicitly say she didn't touch the guitar case.
Objection! But this whole matter with the guitar case is a dead end. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. It has no bearing on this case at all. That may well be. However,
Yet the guitar case does seem to have no relation to this case, does it?
It seems that there is no deep meaning to the guitar case. Well, Mr. Wright, do you think we need to hear more details about the guitar case?
I'd say make her testify, but... Like, I mean, we have to let her testify, because if we don't, then it's over. So, let me just see. Yeah, okay.
The empty guitar case. I believe this is a crucial piece of the puzzle.
I can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this, but it is you.
I can't believe we're doing this either.
All right, I'll hold on for now. Mr. Andrews,
please testify to the court about the guitar case.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Haven't looked at the guide yet. I'm trying to do this without looking. I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. As for why I opened the case, even I don't know.
It looks like this really wasn't a very important point.
This wastefulness is such a familiar feeling by now that it's almost comforting.
Anyway, I'll just go ahead and start the cross-examination.
Using any way to change the topic, a convenient escape for a weak man. God dang it. You're so mean, Edward. 1, 2, 3. How about... Yeah, the fourth one. Yeah, that's suspicious. Why didn't you open it? Was that because you were shocked and dazed at discovering the victim's body? Yes, that's probably it.
I'm not going to get anywhere if I continue pressing her like this. The only way to make her talk is with evidence. I guess I should give it a try.
Come on, Phoenix. We can't afford to let up on her now.
I wasn't planning on letting up, but
she's at her weakest now. So, this is our chance. Yeah, we had a weapon to hit her. I'm sure a weapon is hiding somewhere in the court record, waiting to be found.
Okay. What does the guide say? Oh, okay.
So, 1. So, basically, okay, it says just the guitar case. Okay. And, alright. So, let's see why. There's no way you were the one who opened the guitar case. Why would you say that? It's elementary, my dear. Don't try to be like Sherlock Holmes, Phoenix. Because the only fingerprints on this guitar case are those of the victim. I was saying, does it actually say that? Man, I need to study my stuff more. Ah, okay. So that makes sense. Okay. Because it's like if she touched it, where are her fingerprints? Ah.
Oh my god! Her fingerprints were on it! I had no idea! What is it, Miss Andrews?
You shouldn't assume that I must have left prints just because I touched the case.
What do you mean?
What if I were to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time?
Gloves? But why would you be wearing gloves at the time?
It was the night of the ceremony, award ceremony, so of course I dressed up for the occasion. Yes, but now I remember. I'm almost sure I was wearing a pair of thin gloves.
I see! Well, Mr. Wright, you see the witness was wearing gloves at the scene of the crime?
We'll see.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's strange. You were wearing gloves. Isn't that a little strange? Why is that strange? Do you have something that would prove I was not wearing gloves at the time? I did look at the guide. And again, like, if I was doing this by myself, this would make sense. Because, yeah, it's like, oh yeah, if you were wearing gloves, then why are your fingerprints on this glass? Okay. I have your proof right here. This wine glass. The wine glass? You left your fingerprints very clearly on this wine glass. Even if you took your gloves off when you poured yourself this glass of juice, wouldn't you think it was just a little strange that you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case?
My glasses! Oh, they gotta have a spare.
That was good.
I like that.
Order! Order! Order!
Looks like you hit the nail on the head this time. Huh? What do you mean? I believe that guitar case plays a very important role here. But it's just an empty case. Are you really that stupid, Phoenix? I wonder if it really was empty, though. But the guitar! The bright red guitar was at the studio. Phoenix, drop all of your presumptions. What was in the guitar case? What was in the guitar case was not the bright red guitar. You don't mean it was a bright white guitar? Wait, that's not right either. I'm starting to think, what if the Nickel Samurai costume was in there? So basically, she did the deed, killed him, and in the guitar case, without knowing, she put a costume in there so she could put it on and leave. Huh.
I think it would be unnatural for someone to do that. So the witness was not wearing gloves, despite that fact on the case.
Objection! Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. Steer the court towards an unrelated topic and lull us all into his misguided objection.
No,
Your Honor, please recall that Miss Andrews had testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case, which means that the case was closed when the crime took place. However, it is wide open in this photo of the crime scene. I am sure this guitar case has some relevance to the murder. Objection! If you are so sure, right, then I'm sure you can somehow sustain your outrageous claim, right? I mean, correct? Shit. Please enlighten us as to why that guitar case has anything at all to do with this murder.
Can you do that, Mr. Wright?
Well, let's suppose for a second that the bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been in the case.
The bright red guitar not being the only thing? You don't mean to suggest that a bright black?
Objection. So, you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty. Is that it, right? I wouldn't say anything I didn't intend to prove. Deflate that head of yours. You haven't proven anything yet. Now then, let's have it. What was inside this case at the time of the murder? I'd say present that, right? Let's see, because we don't have anything else for a costume, right? Yeah, I'd say it's this. Because I'm assuming she hit a costume. Let me make sure, though. Let's see here. Yep, I was right. Or it also said the Nickel Samurai allowed his photo. Ah, okay, I get that. Okay. So yeah, so I'm glad I was right. So yep, it's this. It's the Nickel Samurai costume. I love, as soon as she said that, I was like, wait a minute, what if she put the costume in the case? So then, when she did the killing, she'd put on the costume and then leave so no one would suspect her.
This is a photograph!
Yes, but what is important is what is in that picture, Your Honor.
In this picture?
It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I am proposing is... inside the guitar case was the Nickel Samurai, the hero's very own costume. What?
Oh my god, Edward, you what? Mr. Wright, explain yourself!
Right, are you saying that the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? What insane point would there be to doing something like that? That insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews put it on to hide her identity, so she could make her escape. After all, you couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews? I refuse to accept your theory. Do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea? Just outside the door was an investigative photographer who was starting for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get this shot, correct?
You mean this photo? Oh my god! I had no idea about that photo. What do you mean? We just had it in the last part. Oh, right. Order! Order! It looks like we wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we?
Nice job, Phoenix. Well, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later.
So the real murderer was hiding inside the costume.
Objection! Wait 1 second, Your Honor. The Nickel Samurai's costume would have been Mr. Matt Engard's. Why would something of the defendant's be in the victim's room? And inside the guitar case of all places?
True. That is a little baffling. Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was this Nickel Samurai costume doing inside the guitar case?
Let's see. It was stolen. I mean, if I had to say, I'd say it was a spare because, yeah. I'm gonna go with a spare, right?
Yep, it was a spare. That's what I was thinking too, like, because Engard the whole time was wearing a costume, so she must have took a spare one with her. Mr. Engard did not take his costume off during the break period. In that case, the costume we are talking about was a spare one.
What? Then, are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Nickel Samurai costumes at the Gatewater Hotel?
Uh-huh. Yes, that is what I'm saying.
And how do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case?
It would mean that the victim himself had brought this spare to the ceremony on purpose.
Oh my god, oh. But why? The victim, Mr. Cordia, was a jamming ninja.
Maybe he's gonna steal the limelight from Mr. Engard.
Why would he secretly bring the Nickel Samurai spare costume with him? What could be the reason behind such a particular act?
Huh.
And therein lies the sticking point. Objection! What are you mumbling to yourself about now? Have you just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue? Huh? No, I just...
Miss Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had the Nickel Samurai spare costume?
Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one? Think carefully before you answer, and then answer with gusto. I believe in you. Alright, this is what I think.
Alright, let me save. So we're saying the victim brought the costume.
The reason the victim brought the Nickel Samurai spare costume to the hotel was...
Oops, sir. That's probably not it. I'm not sure. Maybe he was disguising himself? Let me see. Why would he bring a costume? Okay, it says the ticket. Seems like the Nickel Samurai is to confess some... Huh. Okay, so it's the ticket apparently. Okay.
What's this?
On the night of the murder, after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference.
A press conference?
I was about to say, that's what I was thinking. Like, so, basically, Cordia brought a spare costume, and again, yeah, I forgot, Engard said, what? I wasn't gonna make a press conference. That's what it was. So Cordia was gonna make the press conference, but as the Nickel Samurai. Huh. Yes, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at this conference. Oh, he's about to confess something about the suicide of Miss Impact, maybe? That's what I'm thinking. I don't know, though. Huh. I heard about this as well. For once, you're not making something up, right? But what struck me as strange was that Mr. Engard himself said he had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night. Yeah, I'm starting to remember that.
But how could that be?
The way I see it, that can mean only one thing. The conference was set up by none other than the victim, Mr. John Cordia himself.
The victim?
Yes. The spare nickel samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Cordia was going to hold the press conference as the Nickel Samurai!
Oh my god! Cordia was going to hold it as the Nickel Samurai? I had no idea! He was going to dress up as the Nickel Samurai and hold a conference? But why would the victim do such a thing?
That's something I don't quite know yet. However, what I am concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at that conference. The Nickel Samurai was going to confess something. And by confess, I'd wager he was going to reveal something about himself. Which means that John Cordia, posing as the Nickel Samurai, was going to speak about Matt Ungard.
Yes, I guess that is what it would mean.
But if that's the case, that's not a confession. That's public disclosure.
Oh god,
Public disclosure.
Miss Andrews?
I can see why you are pros at what you do.
Pardon me?
Yes, just as you say, the press conference was a setup by John.
Oh my god, it was a setup? I had no idea! Miss Andrews, please offer us an explanation for this!
I was the one who asked to help set it up. And the person who prepared the second costume for him, that was also me.
You?
John had bet everything on the Jeremy Ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought anyway.
He was going to ruin him? Huh?
It looked like somehow John had in his hands a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed.
What? Oh my god! Jesus Christ, it's getting intense. Oh, this popcorn's so good with the drama in here. And do you know what this secret of Mr. God is, Miss Andrews?
That's something only John knew. I don't know what it is.
Ah, I see.
I've probably been coming off quite suspicious to everyone. But that's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt, after all.
Protect Mr. Engard? And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, if you could please tell us the truth about your behavior.
Yes, Your Honor. I understand.
Okay. Protecting Matt.
From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill John no matter what. And he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course. The button and the knife. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt that I had to protect him.
Okay.
This does account for everything.
Well, I am the logical type. We're finally seeing her true self. She's more nervous than a scared rabbit.
If the defense can find no fault with this testimony, I am ready to make a ruling. Please keep that in mind as you cross-examine Mr. Wright.
Looks like somehow everything has swung to the opposite end of the scale again. That just means I have to put my weight into this and turn her logic upside down.
Alright, we'll turn our logic upside down. I gotta let the SD card cool down, so be right back. Alright, here we go.
Would you say that was your intuition speaking to you? Don't confuse my methods of reasoning with your own. If you want to prove that someone did something, You need 3 things.
3 things?
A motive, an opportunity to commit the crime, and finally, decisive evidence. And if you think these 3 things through, the answer becomes quite clear. You should have already known that, Phoenix.
They didn't teach that to us in school. At least, not from what I remember.
May I continue now?
Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
My thoughts were...
Okay.
Honey! You can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. The fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever camouflage. Then, what about the button?
The button?
It's clear from the crime scene that the victim and his murderer fought. And during the fight, the killer whipped the button from the German ninja's costume.
You're talking about this button, correct?
That button was found in the pleats of Matt's hakama, isn't that correct? I would think that makes it very decisive evidence.
Herc! Looks like you were outboxed again, Mr. Wright.
Anyway, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony. I can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat.
Thank goodness Mia can still look at me.
With an icy stare, yes.
Mr. Andrews, for Mr. Wright's sake, please add this information to your testimony.
Okay.
That button was torn off John during his fight with Matt.
Which, no, because autopsy. Here it is. Because yeah, it says he was strangled. If it got obviously they're trying to say the button was torn off because he got stabbed with the knife, but that couldn't be possible because he was strangled first. This is the victim's autopsy report. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by a scarf. Strangulation? The knife stab to the victim was done after the victim had already died.
And what does that mean?
Let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it, which would mean that it was ripped off of the costume when... after the knife was stabbed into the victim. Exactly. Which means... it is impossible that this button was torn off during the victim's final struggle. Because the victim was strangled to death in that fight. Ah! That's right, Miss Andrews. There is no way this button was ripped off during the strangle. This button was consciously pulled off of the victim's already dead body. And Miss Adams, alright, I'm going aboard, right?
Order! What's the meaning of this?
Objection! What is the meaning of this, right? So what if the button was torn off the body after the victim had already died? What does that change? Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve? What purpose? We now know this button was not torn off during the fight. So the murderer took the time and effort to purposely rip this from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it? Huh?
Mr. Wright, does this mean you know what the murderer wanted to do with this button? What was it?
Okay. No. You have to pin the crime on him. There's only one logical reason for doing something like that. It was to pin the crime on Mr. Engard. There's no way anyone would put a bloodied button in their own pants. That's right. Mr. Engard was set up.
by the real killer, of course.
Oh my god, he was set up by the real killer. I had no idea. And the real murderer is? Well, Mr. Wright, who in the world is the real killer then?
Finally. I can't believe I managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point. Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet. Not until the very end. The real killer, the person who planned to frame Mr. Ungard is... I'll say, we're obviously trying to point to her, right? I'm so unsure myself. I guess I'll load if I'm wrong, but that has to be it. Yeah. Miss Adrian Andrews, I choose you. You are Mr. Cordia's killer.
What? Everybody's freaking out.
Order! 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 Mr. Wright! This is a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence that supports your charge?
Any evidence? All of the evidence points to Miss Andrews. Well, how preposterous. You can't stick any of that on me. I can't, can I? Would you care to test me? Then what about this knife? The knife was used to stab the victim after he had already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion onto Mr. Ungard, naturally. A knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his room. And the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you. Thank God I have so many glasses. Then, what about the button that was found in Matt's hakama? This button was removed from the victim's body after he had already died. The only people who could have done so were the person who found his body, or the killer. However, if Mr. Ungard was the real killer, there is no way he would have put such incriminating evidence in his own hakama. The only person who could have put this button into Mr. Ungard's hakama is the person who went to wake him from his nap, which is you, yet again, Miss Andrews.
I see. What about the empty guitar case?
That is also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. Ooh. That costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled the crime scene. Now, who could have known that there was just such a costume inside the guitar case? It could only have been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews.
No,
Objection! But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the guitar case. And it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at that time.
That's right.
That's because she did not intend on leaving any prints. If anyone had found out that she had touched the case, they would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. I'm assuming. But the glass of tomato juice is a different story. Miss Andrews purposely left her fingerprints on the glass to show that yes, indeed, she was the classic dazed discoverer of a dead body. And to top it all off, there is this photo. Oh! A photo of the killer as they exited the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on Earth can believe this nickel samurai is Mr. Ungard. He would be much too short for his own costume if it was him. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not? Please, stop. Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? I've got her this time.
Miss Andrews?
I refuse to testify.
What was that?
There's a law. It says I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me.
Oh my God! Oh! Well, yes! You are absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination by allowing a witness to not testify if the testimony can cause damage to themselves.
What? Pleading the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot.
Actually, thinking back to yesterday in Mr. Ungard's room.
Adrian Andrews. Yes? Think hard about what we just discussed, understood? Alright.
Did she tell her to plead the fifth?
That's it! That's when Francisca planted this idea into her head. She must have told Miss Andrews to not testify if things look bad.
You did a good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. But there is still one thing you haven't done.
Something I haven't done? What's wrong, Wright? Are you finished already? Run out of evidence? Huh?
Why are you so humorous, Mr. Edgeworth?
I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless. What? Everything you have proven is circumstantial. Circumstantial? Yes, circumstantial. You have yet to prove a single piece of definitive proof. Prove that Miss Andrews did in fact harbor a wish to murder Mr. Cordia.
I'll say it's probably the evidence you gave us.
Miss Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Cordia?
I believe this may lead to me incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering.
But Miss Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting your guilt, don't you think?
Maybe so, or maybe not. There is nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence.
No, she's taking that deviant attitude again.
I will say, is that what it is?
But Mia, what should we do?
Somehow, we've landed in the worst possible situation. When haven't we? That's all these cases ever do. We always end up in the bad situation, and then we rise up from it.
I think we have reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Miss Adrian Andrews has refused to testify, and the defense's theory that she is the actual murderer has not been fully sustained with solid definitive proof.
But that's not true.
In this situation, there's only one thing this court can do, and that is to declare a recess.
Recess?
I request that both the prosecution and the defense look further into this matter, and at tomorrow's trial.
Tomorrow? We don't have a tomorrow. If we don't get a not guilty verdict today, then... Hold it! Please wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial... Please continue the trial. What are you sweating for? Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he? That's not it. This isn't about that. Edward, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If I don't get the verdict, then Maya... Huh?
But it's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Now this court is...
Objection! It is not impossible for this trial to continue. Huh?
Mr. Edward, what are you...
It's true Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic of conversation was something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony.
Yes, that is very true, but...
Actually, there's one little thing that I'm curious about. Miss Andrews. When you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice.
Yes, and?
I can't help but think how unnatural that is. Usually when one finds a body, they are shaken up, not stirring a glass of juice.
So my actions were unusual.
But I've already... Before you speak, I want to state that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect.
Testify?
Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness.
Oh my God, Edgeworth, he's so cool. He's got a point.
I don't know what it is about Edgeworth today, but I can't get a good read off of him. Is he friend or foe? I just don't know.
The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Miss Andrews, if you please.
Okay. When I found the body, that glass of juice, I didn't really pour it for myself. I was surprised when I walked into the room and saw it in that messy state. And John, he was sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something. So, I went to pour him some juice. When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over.
Okay.
So you poured that glass of juice for the victim. Why didn't you say so in your earlier testimony?
'Cause he's lying, Judge.
How do you not understand?
I didn't think I needed to include something so trivial. Phoenix, please be careful here. If you can't find anything wrong with this testimony, then there's nothing left. I know. Edgeworth, what the heck is going on in that brain of yours?
Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
I'll say, what does it say? So it says 4, 5, or 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's sitting like that. It says, present the crime scene photo. Kinda wanna look. I would say, are we gonna argue that, oh, this stuff was already knocked over? Let's see. Let's do it. We'll see what Phoenix has to say. I'm not too sure. So you honestly didn't think he was dead when you found him?
No, not at all.
Even though this is what you saw when you discovered the body?
Ah!
Oh. Because, yeah, in the crime scene photo, we see him with the knife already. So it's like, wait, how did you not see anything suspicious? Like, the knife should have been immediately noticeable if she's saying that she didn't stab him.
What is the meaning of this?
Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? There's a knife sticking straight out of Mr. Cordia's chest. Yep, okay. Anyone who saw this scene would have immediately thought that there was a dead man.
Well, you see...
I doubt a single person in the world would mistake this for someone who fainted. And then so nonchalantly go pour something to drink.
Your point is?
Miss Andrews, your testimony just now, it was all one giant lie. And your lie has proven one thing very clearly. That you are the real killer!
No!
It looks like the defense has somehow brought the ugly truth to light. The defendant, Miss Matt Ungar, is not guilty after all.
But that's impossible. You're wrong.
Miss Andrews, try to have some composure.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you. It was Matt. I swear it. He's the one who killed John.
But you were the one who refused to testify. And your reason for not doing so was that you might end up incriminating yourself.
That's because...
Miss Andrews, I will give you one last chance. What exactly are you hiding that may incriminate you?
I refuse to testify.
Oh my God, she still refuses, oh. Then there is no need for this court to continue any further. Mr. Matt Ungar's innocence has been clearly demonstrated.
Is it over? Have we found the truth at last? What's wrong, Phoenix? Usually the real killer confesses his or her guilt. And now that I think about it, this is the first time someone hasn't. Uh-oh.
Now then, I would like to hand down my verdict for Mr. Matt Ungar.
Objection! Ah, shit. Your Honor, the prosecution feels that it would be premature to pass down a verdict at this time.
What?
The reason is quite simple. This witness has yet to speak the absolute, real truth.
Oh my God, she didn't even speak the real truth. I had no idea. The absolute real truth? What are you?
Witness, don't you understand yet?
Huh?
I don't know who planted this silly idea in your head, but as long as you protect yourself through your silence, Matt Ungard will go free, and in his place, you will become the guilty party.
That's a lie. I don't believe you.
What?
I was told if I spoke then it would be all over, and Matt would never be declared guilty.
What in the world is she talking about? Has she lost it?
I can't speak about it. I'm too scared.
It's Francisca von Karma. Huh? Don't you remember, Phoenix? Miss Andrews lives by gripping tightly onto the words of another, because she doesn't have the strength to believe in herself. Then, right now, Miss Andrews is... Yesterday, she was tossed a lightsaber by Miss Von Karma. Oh, she was tossed a lightsaber by Miss Von Karma. Don't say a word, no matter what happens. If you do, Matt Ungard will be acquitted. Miss Andrews undyingly believes in those words right now, and is clinging onto them.
Then what should we do? This is the first time I've ever come across anything like this.
But Miss Andrews has to be the killer, right? All we have to do now is to get her not guilty. That is my only priority.
It wasn't me. I'm begging you. Please believe me. I didn't kill John. Help. Please. Someone. Help me.
Mr. Wright,
Yes, Your Honor?
the court can continue on like this. Therefore, I'd like to hear what you intend to do.
What I intend to do?
What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say?
Right. I suggest you think very carefully about this. Think about what this witness did and what she did not do. And think about who is the real mastermind behind this crime. Who's the real mastermind? Isn't that obvious? There's no one else it could be except the woman crying over there. Right? No. Come now. What will you do? What kind of man are you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? I kinda would say request a not guilty verdict. Let's see. Okay, it doesn't matter what I choose, but we'll do this one.
No matter what she says, Miss Andrews is the only person it could be. Not to mention, I don't have a choice. I have to win a complete acquittal today.
So it didn't matter, it said,
Your Honor, the defense believes there is enough evidence to sustain our claim. Therefore, we motion that this court passes a verdict of not guilty as soon as possible. I'm disappointed in you, Wright. What have you learned in this past year? That's enough! I commend you for trying, Mr. Edward. However, it's clear that the defense's theory is the truth. You're wrong. Oh. What a shame. Huh? I had hoped things wouldn't come to this. However... What is it, Mr. Edward? Miss Andrews, since you absolutely refuse to testify, it falls on my shoulders to disclose this to the court. Stop. Mr. Edward? This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness. What? And because of this illness, she has tried to commit suicide in the past. Stop. Please stop. No matter how much you want to hide, it's no use. I have the evidence right here. That's the second part of the suicide report. The attempted suicide report. What will you do now, witness? You know what I am about to do, don't you? I will now reveal to the court the true nature of the pitiful woman known as Adrian Andrews. The secret of her dependent nature. Having other people know about it scares her more than anything else in the world. Please stop! I beg you! If people find out, I'll... If you're going to say you would choose death, that is of no concern to me. Edward, how can you be so cold? However, before you die, I will pull the truth from your still breathing lips. No matter what I have to do. So, will you tell the court yourself, or shall I? Either is fine with me. I'll talk, but please, help me. Nothing matters anymore. My crime! When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted, honestly. When I realized he was dead, that was when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room. And then, I stabbed John's body with the knife and ripped off the button. Just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience. And that's why I ended up using the nickel samurai costume. Stab the body with the knife? But why would you do that? Isn't it obvious? To pin the blame on a certain person. A certain cowardly man. What do you mean by all of this? We'll find out in a second. I gotta let the SD card cool down. Be right back.
alright, we're back. Let's finish this, because all I have to do is just press all the statements. Again, even though I'm using a guide, it is fun figuring out the story. Because again, I have no idea how these end, so it'll be interesting to see. And the voice acting's fun to do. It might take this court a little while to understand, but... this is the truth. The real killer is Matt, that scumbag of a man. I'll never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again, just like last time. Ooh, yeah, I was about to say, she called him a coward. Yeah, that's the interesting thing. Because again, we have to prove he's not guilty. Though she's saying he really did it. But we used the Mega Tomahawk on him, and we didn't get a response, unless Pearl was wrong. Huh. Last time. So, Miss Andrews stabbed the victim, John Cordia, in the chest with the knife. However, she didn't do it with murder in mind. She did it with the intent of framing Matt Ungard for the murder. And this is her crime! Oh my god! Oh, he's so cool, Edgeworth! What? How is this possible? I mean,
Wasn't Miss Andrews supposed to be the real murderer?
Miss Wright, please get over your shocking. Commence the cross-examination.
so yeah. Alright, let's press it all. Hold it! But you could tell from the state the room was in that there must have been a fight. Are you telling the truth when you say that you did not know he was dead? He had a scarf tied around his neck, but that scarf is part of the Jammy Ninja's costume, so I didn't think anything about it was strange. His head was also tilted down a bit, so I couldn't see his face that well. That's why I thought I'd wake him up and went to pour the juice. What is this plan you had? I knew right away the murderer was Matt. I knew because John, he was going to expose Matt's weakest weak point to the world. So Matt did this to stop John and silence him for good. That's when I thought I should forge some evidence and pin this crime on Matt. So the forged pieces of evidence were the knife and the button. The first thing that came to mind was to plant the knife. Hold it. That was so you could get the knife, correct? The knife Matt used at dinner had his fingerprints all over it. I thought if I used that, then the police would certainly turn their eyes towards him. Matt was napping with his costume on at the time. I slipped in, took the knife, and returned to the scene of the crime. Howdy! So you were the one to stab the victim with that knife? It gives me goosebumps to think about it now. What a horrible thing I did. But at the time, I couldn't control my own body. It moved on its own. Then, when I stabbed John's dead body, I suddenly realized something. If I used the button somehow, I could make Matt look even more suspicious. So, you thought to rip one of the buttons off and then plant it in Mr. Ungard's hakama? Yes, that's what I had planned to do. But things never go that smoothly, do they? Howdy! An inconvenience? There was a woman with a camera at the ready, loitering in the hallway. Ah, that's where she put the costume on. I'm willing to bet my spikes it was Lana. There was also a woman with a ray gun at the ready, pacing back and forth. That's Miss Oldbag for you. I had already been caught and made into a big scoop for a certain weekly tabloid once, so I couldn't very well go out looking like myself and get caught once again. That's when I did that. You were the one who prepared that costume, weren't you? Yes, I took it from Global Studios. I also put it into John's guitar case the day before the awards ceremony. You did this in preparation for the press conference, correct? Yes, John wanted to wear that costume and hold a press conference in it. He was going to disclose Matt's big secret there.
And what is this secret?
That, I don't know. Anyway, I thought that if I were to leave John's room in the nickel samurai costume, then people would think that Matt was the real murderer. I was very close not to leave any fingerprints when I opened the guitar case.
I absolutely did not want anyone to know about the costume.
Here we go.
I think we've heard enough. So, after that, you went back to Mr. Ungard's room and planted the button?
Into Matt's hakama. Yes. After that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it into a bag. Then I snuck it out of the hotel and got rid of it.
My word! What does all this mean?
Mr. Edgeworth, is it? The real criminal is Matt Ungard. Yesterday, the real criminal is Matt Ungard. Yesterday, that woman prosecutor sat me down for a talk.
Francisca, huh?
She said that I should under no circumstances confess to what I had done. That if I just kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but to believe in her words.
God damn! Somebody yells in the courtroom. God damn! What this witness had done is clearly unlawful. However, as long as her testimony stands, we can be certain she is not the real killer.
Wait, Your Honor! The defense still...
Objection! Right!
Huh?
It's pointless.
At this point in time, it is not possible to indict Miss Andrews on anything.
Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as the murderer. The cross-examination of this witness is over, and so is today's trial. You couldn't establish that the witness was the culprit. Please, let it go, Mr. Wright.
But...
Mr. Edgeworth, please place Miss Andrews under arrest for further questioning.
Understood, Your Honor. The prosecution will arrange for her detention immediately.
That is all. Court is adjourned for today.
No! Shit. This ain't good. What's gonna happen to Maya now?
Oh my god, yeah! Oh, fuck!
Oh, Phoenix. Today's trial. It's over. And I didn't win an acquittal. Witness, would you mind if I ask you something?
Huh? Edgeworth?
What is it? Before you leave court today, I wondered if I might look at one thing. The card in your hand. It had my interest for quite some time now.
Yeah, I was about to say, why didn't you bring that card up, Phoenix? Well, actually, Phoenix doesn't even know, and she doesn't even know where she got it. Maybe Edgeworth will know.
What exactly is it? Oh, this? Mr. Wright also asked about this. Although I didn't remember at the time you asked me about it, Mr. Wright. I remember just now. I found this in the room on that day. The room?
Oh. It's a calling card. So whoever actually killed him left a calling card. I'm assuming it's our assassin? But again, I still question, why does he want Matt to not be guilty? I don't understand. Unless Matt really did do it. I don't know. I guess we'll find out as the story goes on.
That day?
Yes. It's on the table.
I found this card when I discovered John's body. It was lying there right next to him.
You found that card? Next to the victim's body?
I suppose I must have unconsciously slipped it into my pocket. But it's not as if this card has any relevance to John's murder, right?
It has everything to do if it was found in the crime scene, lady!
Yeah, I guess not. But still a strange card, if you ask me. But as far as a clue to this case, I don't see why.
How do you not see why? Why would you not question why the card was at the crime scene? Like, whose card is that?
Hold it! Witness!
this! That card! Give it to me! Hurry!
Edward?
Do you have any idea what you have stupidly, yet inadvertently done? This! I can't believe you hid this from me all this time!
Well, he wasn't really hiding it. It was right in front of her, you idiot. Why didn't you ask about the card earlier, Edgeworth?
I didn't mean to.
What is this all about? I've never seen Edgeworth so emotional before. Yeah, what is this card? Do you know it? That card. What in the world is it? And what does it mean?
To be continued.
I guess we'll have to find out next time. Alright, let's get to where we can stop and we'll count in a pound! So, crap. We didn't get our not guilty verdict, which means Maya might be killed. I don't know, we'll see. I mean, obviously not, there's a third game, but I'm interested to see how all this unfolds.
March 22nd, 5:24 p.m. Going right off law.
Mystic Maya! Mystic Maya!
There, Pearls.
I can't take it anymore. Wow!
Look, it'll be alright. Everything may still work out.
Huh?
The condition was that we had to get a not guilty verdict. And so far, the kidnapper has kept his word and hasn't hurt Maya. And he won't because Mr. Ungard hasn't been given a guilty sentence yet. Cheer up. We don't have time to stand around crying. We have to get going.
You're right. Mystic Maya is in much more pain than I am.
Yes, that's right. So,
Hi, you guys! Glad I caught you, pal!
Mr. Scruffy Detective!
oh boy, looks like Detective Gumshoe has been dubbed Mr. Scruffy Detective in Pearl's books now.
It's just plain old Mr. Dick Gumshoe now, and I came to talk to you, pal!
But we're kind of busy right now. Alright. I guess we'll have to talk to Gumshoe next time. I wonder what he's got to talk to us about. Well, like I said, we'll find out next time. So again, hope you all enjoyed. This is CB Ultra 768, and we will begin our final investigation days. Well, not day, but day. Because again, I know this has a part 1 and part 2 of investigations. And then after that, we'll be on to the final trial. Which, I will definitely get the guide out for the part 2 of the final trial. Because again, I know there's a good and bad ending. And I definitely want to definitely see both of those and see what they're like. So again, hope you all enjoyed. This is my CB Ultra 768, and we'll be back with more Phoenix Wright Justice for All next time. So stay tuned for that.